Welcome to another episode of season 6 of the Runners Roundtable. And this is a special episode because it's in person and it is my first ever in person episode. So this is cool, but also awkward because I'm like, yes, where do we stare? But we're here. And season 6 is dedicated to the beyond pace and favorite running memories. And each guest shares a little bit of their running story with us. And today I am so excited to have Jessie here. And it's just so cool to have this conversation in person, just because I don't even remember how we first met.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember always looking for you at the volunteer tent before the Miami Half Marathon to give you a hug. Like it was always that, just going there to meet you, to give you a hug before race. So I think you had told me we met like remote run club years ago. So like through another run club that was here in Miami when I moved back to Miami 2015, 2016. So we've known each other for that long. And when I reached out to you for the podcast, you're like, let's do it in person. I'm like, well, I've never done that before. I don't know how this is going to work, but why not? Let's figure it out. So here we are in person. And I want to turn it to you now and ask you to introduce yourself to us. And it's a 3-part question. So who are you? When did you start running? And what is your current relationship to running today?
Okay, so my name is Jessie. Thanks, Steph, for having me here. I am many things. I am, a creative. I am imaginative. I am a daughter. I am a dog mama to 2 dogs. I have one of them here. The other one's in the other room. I am a cousin. I'm a friend. I'm a wife. I am a recovering perfectionist. I am a sister of Sigma Lambda Gamma. I think I might get into this, how important that my sisterhood is to me during our talk. I am a regular schmegular person who likes to run, and professionally, I am an advocate for families and children who are don't have the resources to necessarily know how to advocate for themselves. So I try to give them a voice. And unprofessionally, I don't know, I'm a comedian. I started running back in high school by mistake. So I had a few friends who were like ready to try out for basketball. And they were like, in order for you to get into the basketball team or try out for the basketball team, you have to get your endurance up and try out for cross country and like do cross country, whether it's JV or how, if you get good, you have to go through a whole season of cross country and actually go. And I was like, okay, sure. And I, joined the JV team for cross country. My first 5K turned out to be 5 miles because we got lost in the woods of somewhere in New Jersey. We took the wrong turn. So instead of running 5K, we ended up running or walking 5 miles because it was literally the first week of school, the first week of practice. And then that Friday, I remember we had this cross-country meet that was supposed to be 5K and turned into 5 miles. And people were out there looking for us because it was getting dark. So come basketball season, a lot of my friends who encouraged me to come and join cross country so that we can join basketball, they were like, okay, let's join basketball. And I was like, why did I even say yes to this? Like, I'm not good at basketball. I enjoy watching basketball, but I know that I am not good at basketball. I have to figure something else for myself because I'm not joining basketball team and making a fool out of myself because I'm not going to enjoy it. So I went home and my parents were like, okay, so what are you going to do? Because from a very young age, they were like, you got to do something. Weekends consisted of going to the Boys and Girls Club from 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. and doing whatever, doing gymnastics, swimming, ping pong, computer classes, all of that. So I was like, I don't know. We were a very small school. We graduated with like 135 kids. So it's not like there was much to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, give me some time. So I took some time, and then I was like, I think I'm going to join track. Like I kind of enjoyed this whole running thing during cross country. I think I'm going to join track. And little by little, I actually became kind of good. I was pretty decent. And by sophomore year, I became the captain of the girls team, and that carried on until my senior year. I've been running on and off since then. I moved to Miami. I think it's gonna be 12 years. It's gonna be 12 years this summer since I moved, and like I tend to be a Miami runner between the months of September till maybe March.
Oh God.
And then maybe I'll sprinkle some miles in during those months in between because it just gets so hot.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I'm a regular schmegler runner who, enjoys to run and sprinkles in some runs. And now I am committed to running the New York City Marathon, my first marathon. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. My first marathon, I'll be completing the New York City Marathon with Team for Kids, fundraising for that charity.
What made you decide that now was the time to run a marathon?
Actually, I remember being in high school and watching the New York City Marathon on TV. And I was like, I'm going to run the New York City Marathon one day. And I went to school like a couple of days later, and I saw the athletic director, and I was like, hey, Mr. Morgan, I think I'm going to run the New York City Marathon one day. And he's like, do you know that's 26 miles? And I was like, do you know that you're wrong? Because that's actually 26.2 miles. And he's like, oh, after running 26 miles, you think the 0.2 was going to make a difference? And I was like, yes, because I bet you wouldn't be able to do 0.2 after 26. So it was just like a bickering back and forth that I had with like the athletic director. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And then fast forward, I ran my first half marathon back in 2017. And I was like, this is cool. And then I tried running a little bit more, and I was like, no, this is cool. Like, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to do anything else. Like, I like this half marathon, like the training that goes into it. I love my 10Ks. And then again, this past year, I was watching it. We were watching it. And I remember just being so inspired by the elite athletes. Of course, they only show the elite athletes, but like afterwards, you get so inspired by everybody's stories that you hear and that you see, and all of those happy and struggling moments that happen. And I was like, that would be so cool to actually run the New York City Marathon. Like, Jersey is my home, but New York City was 23 minutes on the train from me. So I was there very often. So I think I was like, what? Like, it's going to be so hard to get into the New York City Marathon because you always hear the disgruntled people talk about how they didn't get into the New York City Marathon or one of those world majors. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it for a good cause. So I realized that Team for Kids is actually the charity under New York Roadrunners for New York City Marathon. And I was like, this is a perfect mix of my worlds because I've been working with children and the youth development aspect since 2009. And I've been working in the event planning aspect since 2012. I've been running for a very long time. So again, sports have been such a big aspect in my life. It's been so vital that I just felt so attached to this charity. And I was like, I'm going to apply for Team for Kids and see. I was like, chances are I probably won't even get it. And like a few days later, I was like, I have to start training for a marathon. I was like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah. So New York is a really special race. I did it, I think it was maybe 2017. I think. And anyways, it was sometime there, 2017 or 2016, one of those years. And it was just, the world majors, they're different races. Like they are just such a different category of race in terms of the people that do the runs, right? Like you see such a diversity of people, even though it's so interesting what you say about hearing the elite athletes, because that's one reason why I like to watch it on the TV, because you do get that coverage. But then I also like getting on Instagram.
Yes.
And like if you follow New York Roadrunners, like their page, or even the New York City Marathon page, that's where all the other stories show up, right? Like that's where they're
that pops
yes,
up, and the personal stories,
all of it. So I'm like, that's where social media is incredible, because you do have access to those other stories that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. And in recent years, we are seeing more races highlight the last few runners, right? So like that's for me, I'm always like, I am stalking those pages till the end of the day, especially with New York, because that one is so unique, where you'll have it till 10 p.m. Like it is so late in the day.
And dark.
It's dark, but they still have the finish line set up. There's still all these people out there like celebrating and cheering. And it's just a different race. And I remember running it and thinking, this is just crazy. Like it's a crazy race. And a lot of people love that race. I had a great experience, but I just don't like the logistics of the race. Like I'm such a pain in, like I'm very picky with the logistics, and it was just remember. Yeah. So like I remember I woke up at 5 a.m. to catch a bus, and the bus was like an hour-long drive from I guess downtown New York City, and got to the start area, and I think I had about 4 hours of waiting. And the year I went, the temperatures just changed so much that I did not have the right clothes to wait around in. The right clothes for when I was running, but to wait around in, I was so unprepared. So it's just that of like, oh, I am awake at 5 a.m., but I don't actually start running until 10:30. So it's like, what do you do in that time? Do you eat? Do you not eat? Do you like, how many breakfasts do you have? So that was the only thing that I'm like, logistically. And it was also just because it's in November and the time changes, it's at 4 p.m. It's dark. So I remember finishing the race, walking the mile to meet up with my husband. And as we were walking back to the hotel, it was nighttime. And I was like, oh my God, I just spent an entire day, like literally an entire day doing a race. So that was the only thing that I'm like, oh, just the logistics of it. But it's because a lot of other races, I mean, even here in Miami, right? Like the Miami Marathon, Miami Half Marathon, we're really spoiled with an early start time and with a lot of parking around the start area, right? So like we have a race that starts and finishes in the same area. It's really different when you're starting in Staten Island and then you're making your way 26.2 miles to Central Park. So it's kind of like, it's just different logistics of, do I stay in the city? Do I stay near the start line? How do I get from one place to the other? Whereas with other races, it's like, oh, like Chicago's the perfect example for me, where it's as long as you're in the downtown area, you're fine. You can walk to the start line. So that would be the only thing. Just, prepare yourself for the logistics of the race and practice.
I am looking forward to the perks of running with Team for
Well,
Kids.
because you start off in a higher corral, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because they still asked us for our estimated finish time.
Okay.
But they do provide us with our own tent at the start line. Okay. So breakfast is included, and we have transportation, like only Team for Kids transportation.
You should look into it, because even though I had an athlete who wanted to run with them, and I think that was one of the perks of running with Team for Kids, because it's the official charity of New York Roadrunners, that the corral, you actually start in an earlier corral. Like there's special corral start. So you should look into that. But I'm really excited that you're going to run a marathon, and you are running it in one of the biggest races, because New York and London always go back and forth with how many finishers and how big it is. So it's going to be such an incredible experience for you in terms of just seeing, again, everyone that's out there that's running, knowing that everyone is chasing the same goal that day, right? Like everyone is chasing the goal of getting to the finish line, and you're a part of that.
Yeah.
Like that to me, you're a part of that. There is incredible crowd support for almost the entire, I think maybe the first mile, not because you're running over the bridge, but other than that, you're going to have support every step of the way. You're going to be surrounded by runners all the time. And I'm not saying that you're going to run another marathon, but I have a feeling that this experience is going to spoil you to running marathons and just seeing like how incredible the running community is and how, and I've shared this before, I'm just so enamored by big races and the idea that we're all sharing the same road for that one day. All our stories are intersecting. Like you're going to be out there running with, who knows, right? Like, yes, the celebrities, but you're going to be out there running with people who are coming back from injury, people who.
And that's any race, really.
Yeah.
Like I remember my first Miami half marathon back in 2017. That was a race where it was incredibly 43 degrees, like at 5 a.m. I don't know if you remember that. And I remember being in Corral K, and my shoes were before even starting the race because there was like downpour.
Is that the day that the 1 year that it rained? Because I know there was like 1 year that I have like, I only remember it from my pictures, but there was 1 year that I know it rains because I had my rain jacket on. It was rain jacket, long sleeves. So I'm wondering.
I didn't have a rain jacket. I ran 9 miles in a garbage bag.
Oh, okay.
Like if you look back at those pictures, I have them. They're embarrassing. But like I'll see a photographer and like I'll flash them my bib, and I am in a like underneath. Like I have a trash bag over me.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. But those are the memories. But yeah, going back to that, like I remember just being so cold. My feet were like squishing, and just mile, like we made it over that first bridge, heading onto the MacArthur, and I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, for what? All these months of training, and like it's not even like ideal conditions to be running in, to be racing in at that. Like, why am I'm running in a trash bag? Like, what is up with this? And as I'm thinking this, there is a man that I'm passing with an amputated leg. And I was like, I need to shut the hell up because he's doing this. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah. And you know, like those inner like bad thoughts start coming in, and I'll keep running, and I'm passing this woman who's running barefoot. I don't know what cause she was running it for, right? But she had her reasons to be running barefoot. And I was like, okay, I just need to lock in and continue running because they're not, I bet they're hurting right now. Yeah. And just shut up and go. Yeah.
I find that races are in many ways just great equalizers, right? Because it's one of those things where it doesn't matter what pace you're running, you're going to reach that point of it hurts or it sucks or I don't know if I can continue. Like everyone's going to reach that point unless you're having an incredible day and it just feels like magic from start to end. But everyone has that. And that is something that we may not run the same pace, but we can all connect to, hey, you know, that point in a race where it feels really hard. Yeah. How do we get through that? And I love that because it's the best way to snap you out of your own nonsense, right? Like your brain thinking that, oh, this is so bad. Why am I here? I can't believe I signed up for this. And you see someone else and you're like, you know what? We're all just here doing it, right? Like we chose to be here.
And something I carry along with me is I heard Coach Bennett from Nike once. He once said, I think it was him who said it, your mind quits before your body does. Yeah. So after I heard him say that, I was like, I just started using it as my mantra whenever it got hard, like those miles got hard, like when, you know, Miami Marathon, half marathon, at least, like when I'm running, I've run that maybe 5 or 6 times. And there's always a point on the Venetian where my anxiety takes over. And I just have to keep telling myself, like, this is your mind quits before your body does. feet are still moving. So you got to keep moving. Your heart got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, because that's just, it's running, and we don't learn those things until we have to live through them. Right. So I want to bring us to this season and the sharing of your favorite running memory. Do you have a memory that you can share with us?
I can. But I've been listening to the podcast and other guests that you've had, and so I'm gonna sneak in my two. Just two.
Go for it. Go for it.
So I would include like the simplicity of running back in high school. I was literally out there. I don't even remember, like my parents could not afford like nice sneakers for me to run in. So it was like whatever they could afford, I was wearing those to track practice. I was wearing cotton white t-shirts.
Yep.
That reached my knees to, like, I didn't have these fancy socks. Like now I wear like my toe socks so that I don't get blisters. I was wearing whatever regular socks that I was, that my parents could afford. And I think there's a beauty in that.
Yeah.
There's a beauty in that simplicity where you can go back and think about how fun that was and how great of a memory that is, because you don't think that you're creating these core memories by the simplicity of running in whatever you have. And now I look at myself and I'm like, oh, I need a sports bra with like pockets in the back and shorts that don't make my thighs shave and blah 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 blah. I could keep going on and on, but I think there's a beauty in that simplicity of being young and kind of, naive to the running world, that you have to show up, you're going to do it, you're going to show up for yourself, you're going to show up for your team, and you're going to run.
Yeah.
And then my second best memory, I would say, I love seeing people that I know and running with people that I know. And the day before I got married, there used to be a race, St. Louis church had a St. Louis Festival 5K every year. And I was used to going and running it every year. This is the first year they haven't done it in a while. But I invited my guests from my wedding, mostly like my family, my wedding party, to come and run a 5K with me. And it was literally like 25 people running this 5K. And we ran this 5K. It wasn't about pace or anything, because it was probably my slowest 5K, because I was doing it with the people that I love next to me, trying to cross that finish line together with them. A lot of them, went up ahead. They, I have some runner friends, right? But I would say like 75% of the people that were there for me, with me, they ended up getting first or second place in their age group. It's a small race, but it was just like so hilarious. Like, one of my friends, she ran it in 50 minutes and she came in second place in her age group. And like we were just like, yeah. And like people are looking at us like, but it was just such a beautiful, beautiful experience of just having everybody there that I love, that I cared for, and that cared for me, that loves me, and just there to, have fun, support, and be there for me like the day before I get married.
They both connect, right? Because I'm thinking of these people, these 25 people, some who are runners, some who are not, right? Like they're not showing up in the gear, right? Like they're not showing up in like your fancy sports bra and, even just like, I mean, this is like my attire, but right, like that dry knit race shirt, like there's a simplicity in that as well, right? Like that simplicity of just showing up as you are and seeing what you can do
and having fun
with it. And even just, I think of, like, I just remember, I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast. I've definitely talked about it in therapy, where I'm like, man, when I first had my daughters, right? Like both of them, but I remember it more specifically with my oldest because she was the first one. And I just remember her like being born and me being so worried about what her first memory was going to be. Okay. Like, and I would just spend days like, is this going to be her first memory of me? Is it going to be like me screaming at her? It's going to be that, right? And I think it's just, you said something that made me think of that because we don't know what's going to be that thing that stays with us. We don't know what that core memory is going to be. So I think of this, high school version of you out there with your cotton and just thinking, I'm just here doing this, or why am I out here doing it? And now all these years later, you're like, I love that simplicity. And then we have something that's so recent, the day before your wedding, where there is that simplicity as well of it's not a big race, right? It's not anything that's like, you got to go to pack and pick up and get your bib and you have the different corrals. It's very much so that simplicity of showing up for you because they love you. And then even I'm just thinking of the joy of people being like, hey, 15 minutes and I got first in my age group, or, like just that moment becoming a memory for everyone because it's so out of the ordinary, right? So the question I have for you is when we're thinking of these two experiences, and it's always so hard when I say, what's your favorite memory? Because I know it's like, it's not really just that one moment in time, right? It's how that particular experience has rippled out. Or even just thinking of yourself in high school, it's a collection of experiences that has now become like this memory of you running in high school. But the question I have is when you're thinking of these two experiences or these two like kind of points in time, how would you say they've shaped you as a runner today?
Well, starting off, like, I've been running for such a long time, even though it's been on and off for 23 years. The way that it has shaped me is kind of going back to that mentality of it doesn't matter if you have like the newest, fanciest carbon plated sneakers. There's a simplicity in all of this. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be fun. Like running is best enjoyed when it's fun. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I think just thinking about that aspect of like, 14-year-old me running in my cotton t-shirts and I don't know, like these, I think they were like these Pumas with like even a bit of a heel so the heels now are like,
oh my gosh, do you know what's back in style? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was in Nordstrom, and do you remember the Nikes that had like the little shots?
Those.
Okay, so I saw them in Nordstrom, and I picked these shoes up, and I go to my girls. I'm like, this was popular when I was like in middle school and high school, and I remember those were the shoes that like if you ran, you would have those shoes, and now I'm like, I would never. Like they're so stiff. So it's like it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I got them for my I remember my cousin and her husband got me those sneakers for my Sweet 16, and I thought I was the shit. I was like, wow, I am going to dust these hoes on the next track meet. No, absolutely not. But like it was such a simple time, like such a simple mentality, like you can't afford these things, you don't have these things, you don't know better. Like there's a little bit of a beauty in that kind of innocence and ignorance, right? Yeah. Like which makes it fun, which makes that running aspect fun. And then when it comes to the aspect of having people there for you, again, I think it's a beautiful thing if somebody that came to run with me that day decides that day was fun. That 5K that I did with Jessie the day before her wedding was fun. I'm gonna go and run just because that was fun. So let me go try it out and run. And I have my nephews who, he's like, I gave him my old Garmin and he's running like 10 miles like just because he can. And I'm like, beautiful. I love that for you.
Yeah. It's running is always, and that's part of the season, right? Just exploring how running is bigger than the physical act of running, right? It's how does it impact us? How does it shape who we are? And then how, through our experiences, does it end up rippling out to the people around us, right? And I think all of that, it's beautiful. And I'm also just thinking of I'm hearing in my head, like, ponte los tenis, right? It's not running shoes. It's like, put on your tennis shoes. Like, it was just like, whatever, like, it was, I remember, like the, old school Reeboks, but those are in style too. But that was kind of like your Reeboks or Payless. I don't even know if Payless still exists, but it was that. It was like, okay, you're getting sneakers from Payless, and those are going to be the shoes that you take to PE or whatever the case is. So we make running really complicated. And I like really good gear because it is an investment. It is the things that help me feel confident. It's also the things that help me not chafe. But the reality is do I need those things? No, like they are the luxury perk items that make running feel easier, but they're not the things that, like, we don't need them. And it's expensive. Like,
they say running is cheap, running is free. No, running is expensive. Like, when you put in like shoes, your gear, your sports bra, your chafing cream, your physical therapy, your everything, it adds up. It adds up. Your races.
Yeah, I mean, I think of something as simple as like this watch, right? Like, I have my watch, right? Like this watch, I'm like, oh, when I bought it, it was maybe like a $600 watch. And I'm like, it's bananas to me that it's like the watch that I wear every day is a $600 watch. I'm like, that's what I wear. I have this watch for my running. And yet it's kind of like, it's not cheap. And yet we say it is cheap. And obviously, like, I don't need to wear a running watch, right? I don't, like, no one needs to wear one. But the part of me that likes the data wants to wear it. And it's also part of like how I remember the things that I did, right? So
funny enough, I recently ran a 5K, and after the 5K, turned it off, and it says, congratulations, 5K PR. And I looked at the time and I was like, this is not my 5K PR, because I did not have a Garmin back in 2006 when I actually hit my 5K. Like, I was like arguing with myself and my Garmin. And I was like, no, it is not. Do not call this a PR.
Well, I can tell you that from my Garmin, this Garmin I've had for a few years, and one of the things I'm rediscovering about my Garmin is that apparently it kind of like, it only keeps the data in here for so long. So now it's like I'll get notifications where it's like, you just ran your fastest mile. And I'm like, that is not my fastest mile. But apparently my fastest mile is just so long ago that Garmin has determined it doesn't exist anymore. So it might also be like the watch is just being right now.
You had a guest recently who was talking about how she kind of framed it as having a PR for every year. Like, even though it's not like her actual PR, she's like, well, this is the first time I'm this age and running it at this time. So it's a PR and you get to celebrate it. Like, again, don't complicate things. Make it fun, make it simple, and celebrate yourself at it while you're at it.
Yeah, that's been my inner work as a runner. It has been very much so of embracing that PRs can look different and that they need to look different in order for longevity to happen and for enjoyment of running to continue, because we're all aging, and at some point we're going to reach our peak and then we're going to come down. And if we're running long enough, we might just hit that peak again. But in order for us to thrive in that downturn, we need to embrace PRing, or we need to embrace running looking a little bit different. And I definitely love that. Like, I'm like, yes, okay. So what am I doing for myself? I'm like, all right, 42. What is 42 got for me? Let's see what we can do. It may not be the fastest I've ever ran, but like, this is the fastest I'm running at this age, and I'm not going to get it back. So, okay, I have a series of questions to ask you now, which if you've listened to the episode, you kind of know what they are. So the first question is, if you could go back in time to speak to a younger version of your runner self, what would you say?
The girl from 23 years ago who was running in cotton t-shirts and all of that, I would go back and I would go and tell her, you are about to get so bougie, you cannot recognize yourself. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, you're going to have really good moments. And you're going to have moments where you love the sport. There are going to be times where you don't necessarily choose running as your method of movement. You're going to enjoy doing other sports and for movement, and you're going to go back to running, and who knows how many times this is going to be a stop and go, but you'll keep moving, and you will thank your body for that
movement. Okay. The flip side to that question is, what hopes do you have for your future runner self?
Girl, I'm trying to finish this New York City Marathon. I'm trying to get into this training blog. I'm trying to get into this because I'm training.
Base building.
I have El Medio Marathon de Cali.
Okay.
At the end of June.
Okay.
So as soon as I'm done with that and I come back like a week later, that's when I start for the big boy, right? I start training for that big boy. So I want to have an injury-free training block. I want to have fun. I want to reach my fundraising goal. I want to continue advocating for Team for Kids. I want people to donate and know that it's going for a great cause. Those are all part of my running goals for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. And is this going to be your first summer of like running through the summer in Miami? Okay. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I am not looking forward to waking up at 3 a.m. So for anybody who's not listening, who's not living in Miami and doesn't understand the struggle it is to wake up at 3 a.m. maybe to get your 20 miles in before the sun is up, because it just gets so unbearably hot and humid. I wonder if that makes you a stronger runner for New York City. Like, what do you think? Like,
there's this saying, and I don't know if you've heard it, where it's the humidity is the poor man's altitude training. I don't know if you've ever heard that. So that's kind of what I would tell myself. I would say it does make you a stronger runner in some ways. However, it's, in my opinion, yes, it makes you stronger, but it's not going to make running 26.2 miles feel any easier. That's just my experience, because the thing is, race day, you're going to have emotions that you don't experience in a training run. So already, like, the stakes are going to be higher on race day than they are whenever you're here, right? Like, you're waking up at 3 a.m., but you're starting at 4, right? You are controlling so much of that experience, whereas race day, there's so much you cannot control. So that's why, like, whenever people tell me, or, if I have my athletes that are either here in Florida or places that have humidity, they're like, I don't understand why I struggled so much at this race. I train in this weather. And I'm like, yes, you train at that weather, but your emotions on race day are different. So it does make you a stronger runner. And those are going to be those runs where it's going to give you the confidence to say, I can do hard things. But race day, to me, is just a different emotional ball game that other things are going to come up for you. Like, you'll be confident that you can do it. But to me, it's just the emotions make the stakes higher. So that day is just going to mean so much more, that the strength you create here, it will be with you, but you're going to have to like access it through a different area, like a different entrance, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would say, you know, if you have access to a gym, treadmill runs are going to be a savior. I know. That's what saved me last year.
I ran 3 miles a few weeks ago because it was like downpouring rain. Like we haven't had much rain these past few months, but this day it was just like downpouring rain, and I only had 3 miles. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it on the treadmill. Like I would look at the time and I'd be like, how has it only been 36 seconds that have passed? Like what? How am I only a 0.1 of a mile since I last looked down here? Like what is happening? Like this is so hard. Like I'm never doing this again. And then like the other part of my brain is like, you're gonna probably have to do this again.
Yeah, I think there's ways around it, and Daryl, I would say the thing for you to consider, and this is just what helped me, is what's going to boost my confidence and my ability to run a marathon. Because for me, like last year, trying to run 15 miles outside, I hated it. And I would finish my runs so discouraged. Mm-hmm. And then, yes, 15 miles on a treadmill is not fun, but I would be like, I can totally do this. Like, so it's it's that dance of what's going to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve, what's going to help you build the confidence for your ability to run 26.2 miles, and can it look a little bit different in order for you to be able to achieve those things. So that's what helped me. But okay, I have 3 questions left, and this one is my favorite question, and it's just, how do you celebrate yourself as a runner?
Earlier on I said I was a recovering perfectionist. So I tend to give myself a hard time when I'm not hitting the splits, or I'm not hitting the times that I wanted, or I can go on and on and on. But I always have to come back and thank my body for allowing me to move, because, you know, there has been moments where I haven't been able to move my body, and just that moment of gratitude for my body and celebrating what my body was able to do. It was probably not what I wanted my body to do, like, and accomplish, but I was still able to do that. Mm-hmm. So just giving myself grace, and, you know, just thanking my body for allowing me to move in the direction that I wanted, and finishing whatever, like a training or a race or whatever, a workout, like that's how I have to celebrate myself, just being grateful for this body that gives me an opportunity to move.
Yes, I love that. Okay, this is the easiest question, and it's just, where can we find you and how can we better connect with you?
You can find me. I have a website.
It's going to be in the show notes. So if you can't remember it off the top of your head,
because they have to put it down. I made it on Canva, but it's really like my running journey, getting to New York City Marathon and everything that I'm doing to fundraise. Don't quote me, but look at the show notes. It's jessierunsnyc.my.canva.site. It'll be on the show notes. And you'll find any of my upcoming initiatives that I'm doing. I have, I'm doing a 4-mile run. That one's going to be really fun. So if you're not from Miami, if you're from Miami, I'm sorry, that the Rickenbacker Bridge, the Rickenbacker Bridge is what most of us use for elevation, because Miami is flat. So we use that bridge for elevation, going up and down, and it's a tough bridge. So I'm having, a group of 30-ish women, mostly women. My husband's running it, but so far it's only been women who have signed up to do this run. And I have medals. I've partnered with local small businesses that are putting stuff in the goodie bags. Yeah, so it's going to be a fun time, but you can find all of that information on there. And I'm just looking forward to it because, like, as you said, like, you know, I've been in the running event production of sides and I haven't had to run those races, but this one I'm doing for me, you know, like I've produced like lots of races, helped produce a lot of races, a Miami Marathon, Chicago Triathlon. I started with World's Toughest Mudder, like since what 2012. So just being able to produce this one, and it's not really a race because you know, I can't get permits for it. I don't want to get permits for it.
No.
But you know, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a fun time. But everything else that I come up with after, that's all gonna be on the website, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be doing this, and you know, for a good cause, Team for Kids.
Love it. Okay. Final question is, what are your final words for us?
Well, first I would give you I know I gave you your literal flowers earlier, but you are elevating so many people by having this podcast even exist. Like you are elevating their stories, and even just maybe motivating somebody who hasn't ran in a while and it's probably come across your podcast. And so yeah, just thank you for having this podcast and elevating these voices who, you know, regular schmegular me, who, you know, when you first reached out to me, I was like, me, like, what do I have to say? Like, what's so interesting about me? But, you know, so thank you. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. And I love it.
Thank you. For everybody else.
And for everybody else, just, you know, I think I said it earlier, like, I'll go with the quote, your mind quits before your body does. Just keep going, keep moving, keep thanking your body for this movement, that you're able to move, whether it's running, whether it's walking, whether it is cartwheels, whatever type of movement you want to do, give your body thanks for being able to move and just keep going.
Okay. Everyone, I'm so happy. I'm so happy we did this. Can I have a hug? Aww. Okay. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.